You just enrolled me into your business. What do you tell me to do first?
This is the 365 Days of Multi-Level Marketing Journey to Freedom podcast with Rome Batchelor, where Rome shares his daily journey from down and out to total financial freedom in 1 year, along with pro tips, tricks, strategies, and tools to help you join in on the journey. Now, here's Rome with today's Journey to Financial Freedom podcast.
Okay, you just signed me up. You just enrolled me into your program. I don't care what time of the day it is or evening, but I just signed up and we're having that conversation right now. Congratulations, you just joined. What do you tell me to do first? Well, first of all, it's time for you to gather the troops. It's time for you to pull in other team members and welcome them to the team. That is an important moment to celebrate with them and show them the team that's back behind them by demonstration and not just by words. We're here. Bring them in and let them see that other people are excited about them being a part of the community, of the team, of the campfire, of the campground, so to speak, and that they are here to help support them and make sure they have contact information, because not everybody is going to decide to work mostly with you. You may be their enroller, but you've got to be okay if they relate to somebody else that is building a business, that is developing going forward. Even if it's somebody in your upline team or downline team that you've placed them under that's not growing as fast as you, as long as that person is doing the right steps and moving the business forward and is excited with a belief and a conviction about it and with the right attitude, it's okay to connect that person with people with the right attitudes and belief systems that are committed, that are moving forward. Even if it's slow, if they're moving forward and they relate to that person, it's okay that they communicate with that support team member or upline even more than you, because this is a business of a campfire, of connections, and some people will relate to other people more than you. It's okay, because there's different personality types. Just make sure you're always hands-on as a primary fall person, because you are the enroller, you are the sponsor, you are the person that it ends up being your responsibility first if they succeed, not somebody else's. So make sure you take that responsibility, but be okay if they relate to someone else who's willing to help them, because the person that they should communicate with, the person they should edify the most, is the person in the upline who's willing to help them the most. And sometimes that will be you, the enroller. In fact, most times it should be, but there will be exceptions, and everybody has to be okay with that, because this is a team and a community, and that's okay. And that gives you security, because now you're earning income without you doing all the effort. You're earning income without you doing all the effort, which ultimately that should be one of your goals, right? So that's a good thing. Just keep a hands on it, make sure they're being taught and guided the right way, because ultimately, again, as the enroller, it's your responsibility first to make sure they're going in the right direction and achieving progress toward their goals and where they need to be. So, with that being said, what do you recommend that they do first? You know what you need to do first is to bring them back to the connections of the team, make sure they're celebrated for joining and connected well to the team. But what do you suggest they do first? What do you suggest they do first? Well, you need to give them some assignments. Now, hopefully, assignments have already been occurring before they signed up. You know, here's your next step. Check this out next. In order to, does this look like something you want more information on? Yes. Then here's what your next step is. Come to this second meeting. Go check out this webinar. Go check out this website. It's got a couple training videos or informational videos that you'll want to see, or product videos, or whatever it is. You should have been giving assignments the whole time, step by step by step. Assignments with permission. Look, would it be okay if I share with you what is highly suggested for the next information? May I share with you what I did next, what I recommend next, what is recommended as the next step? What's highly recommended as your next step is to do this. Would it be okay if I make some suggestions so you can make a good informed decision? If they say yes, you have the permission then to give assignments step by step from that point. But now that they've joined, hopefully you've set that tone already, so they're used to taking your suggestions. But if you have not, let's say they joined quickly before you could have done that, or you haven't done it ideally up to this point and you need to correct it right now, your first suggestion needs to be an assignment, a task of what they need to do next. For example, would it be okay, Jim, would you like to earn your money back in the first 2 weeks? Would you like to earn your money back in the first week? Would you like to earn all your money back in the first month? Would you like to get to $500 a month in the first 60 days? Would you like to get to $1,000 a month in the first 120 days? Whatever the goal is, that goal you need to, based on your conversations with them and your knowledge of them, you need to ask something that you think is a stretch but attainable. Attainable, but yet a little bit of a stretch means it's going to take an exciting amount of action, but it will be a big enough of a reward that will motivate them. For a lot of people, it's just earn my money back in the first 30 to 60 days, and then from there earn extra income the rest of my life. That's usually realistic if someone works. So you need to set that tone, ask that question, would you like to earn your money back as fast as possible? And they say yes. Then would it be okay if I give you the steps that'll make that happen? Would it be okay that I share with you how to make that happen? Yes. Okay, if I give you those suggestions, are you willing to carry them through? Are you willing to receive my coaching if I take the time to walk you through making that happen? If I assist you to make that happen, will you do your part? Will you follow the suggestions? Will you be adherent to my coaching if I'm going to help you get that done? Yes. Then when they say that, then you say, are you sure? Are you sure you'll follow my coaching? If I'm going to help you do it, this is a two-way conversation. This is a two-way commitment. If I'm going to help you, are you willing to follow the process that I suggest so that neither one of us are wasting time and we're on the same sheet of music? Yes. That might be a little strong, but that's coaching, see? That's coaching. You're not a boss, but you're not just, in something together either. It's a step in the middle. It's called being a coach, but being a coach with strength. You're laying a foundation. You're laying the guide, the ground rules. You're the coach. You have to be the leader. You have to be a little strong, a little firm. And if they don't follow, you need to go work with somebody else. See, you don't need them as much as they need you, because you can sponsor an unlimited amount of people, but they're only going to have a handful of people in the upline team that's going to be willing to work with them. And you're certainly the primary person in most cases. So they really need you more than you need them. So they need to be willing to be a good team player and follow your coaching. Since you're volunteering your time to assist them, they need to respect that. And you need to get a mini commitment from them that they do and that they will, in order to get the thing they want, which is get their money back, in this case, as quickly as possible. So when they say, yes, I'm willing to do what it takes to get my money back as quickly as possible, then you say right away, are you sure? And if they say yes, see, you're emphasizing it. It's now leaving a little impression in their mind, and they're reconfirming with their own commitment, their own voice, their own energy, that that's true, that that's important to them. And because they're taking that energy toward emphasizing that a second time, because you asked that, that leaves a deeper commitment. Then you say, based on that, here's what you need to do next. We need a list of your top 20 people, or whatever your process is. But I'm going to help you with that. Let's take 10 minutes now. Let's take 15 minutes right now. Go grab a pen and something to write on, and I'm going to assist you to show you. See, I know it's going to require X amount of people either trying the product or joining the business to get you your money back. And I already know who those people are. I already know who those people are. Do you? And they like, maybe. And then say, those people right now, grab a pen and paper. I'm going to tell you who they are. Number 1, who's your best friend? Write it down. Who do you know named Al, Alan, Alice, Allie, Aaliyah, Bill, Bobby, Bonnie. Who do you know that last name is Barnes? Who do you know who his name is Carl or Connie or Christy or Christopher or Chris? And you go through the Davids and the Denises, and you go on through the Donalds and the Dons and the Donnies, right? And you go on through the alphabet and you help them develop their initial list. Now, when you keep going through, you should, by the time you get through the alphabet, then go through the phone book, yellow pages, and look at some common professions. Who do you know that's an attorney, an architect? Who do you know that sells automobiles? Who do you know that's a builder, right? And go through that. Once you get through those 2 memory joggers, then you say, now who's in your cell phone list that you talk to regularly that's not already written down? And you help them. This whole process shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, maybe 20. And you've got a top 20 list at the end. Hopefully you've got 30, 40, 50 names written down. And then you identify who are the top 20 or the top 10 that you're going to start with. Now you ask them, tell me 2 character attributes about that person. Not about what they do. I'd like you write down what they do. You can tell me as we go. But what are 2 character attributes about that person? Why in the world would you want that person as a business partner? Well, they're an honest person. They're hardworking. Honest and hardworking. Okay. They, are loyal. They are friendly. They are ambitious. They are reliable. Whatever it is, words like that. 2 words about each person, about their character, not about what they do or how you know them. That's important too, but who they are as a human being. And get that identified in that top 10 list, okay, or top 20 list. And then your next assignment is, okay, now write this down, or let me text you right now what I want you to text them. And then you could ad-lib it a little bit based on your relationship with each person. And then you write down a simple text message invite to connect in the near future. Bill, I've got something important I'd like to run by you. Doesn't have to be in the next few days, but sometime this week or next week, I'm going to reach out because I'd like to get your advice about something and your feedback. Would that be okay? And then they say, sure, what is it? See, then you have them text out something. It doesn't have to be word for word what I just said, but asking for help, opinion, advice, feedback. Those are good things to say. I've got something important and I'd like your feedback. But now, it won't be in the next few days. It'll be maybe in sometime this week or next week. A little vague. It doesn't sound too salesy, too pushy. It takes a little pressure off, but it also it builds curiosity, which is tilling the soil before you plant the seed. You don't want to spill the beans about what it is right then. And then when they come back and say, what is it? Well, it's something I need to show you, but now's not a good time. How about I get with you sometime later in the week or next week? I just want to get your feedback on something. And then, like, for example, if you give out samples, you could text Bill. You could get with your new person if you live locally, and you could text Bill and say, okay, let's say their product comes in and it's samples. Hey, Bill, what are you doing right now? Where are you right now? And they say, well, I'm just getting ready to get off work, or I'm at lunch, or I'm on my way here or there. If they are somewhere you could drive by and meet them for 2 minutes to give them a sample, tell them enough about it, and say, I want to call you back tomorrow. Would it be okay if I give you this and get your feedback on it and see what your thoughts are? I've got some advice I want to ask you about it after you try it, after you experience it, right? And then get back to them the next day. Would it be okay if I got you some more of this stuff? But you want to, that's getting a little more in depth than the purpose of today's episode, but I just want to give you the full image of where this is going and how you're getting things in motion. Now imagine having 20 names like that you're getting samples out to in the next week to 10 days. because you might have to wait 4, 5, 6, 8 days for the product to show up, depending on where somebody lives and what it is, if you're giving samples. If you're not giving samples, you can go right to a video page or a webinar or something. Whatever your upline recommends as the first touch exposure. But you're setting up a curiosity, and then you're following up a few days later with the information. And you could set appointments, but I wouldn't set appointments for a week out. I'd set appointments for the next day. But I would plant the seed first. I'm going to get with you sometime next week or later on this week. I want to get your feedback. Is that okay? Sure. They're going to text back. What is it? So you're not expecting everybody to reply. You should explain that up front. Look, here's what we expect. Out of 20 people, we expect you'll get some kind of text reply, depending on how you know them, typically from 12, 13 people, 14 people. And out of those 12 to 14 people, we're going to actually go visit and drop off or get information to maybe 8 to 10 of them. And out of those 8 to 10 that actually try it, we're going to get you, 2 to 5 people either ordering the product or signing up in the business. And that's just to launch your business and help you start to get your money back. And then we'll go to the next step. So I'm just trying to tie in some steps together in the whole picture of how this looks like. But you've got to, on the first conversation, right when they sign up, you want to celebrate them and you want to give them initial steps. Jim, would you like to earn your money back as quickly as possible? Yes. If I'm willing to help you do that, would you be willing to take my guidance and my coaching? If I'm going to put forth my effort, are you willing to meet me in the middle and take my suggestions to help that happen? And they say yes. Then you say, are you sure? Then you give them a small task. All right, tomorrow, what are you doing? What days are you busy this week? Wednesday and Thursday. Does that mean? That means, okay, so Tuesday, you have a little bit of flexibility in your calendar. Is that right? Yes. Not what days are you available. What days are you busy? That means they're available the other days, right? That's a pro tip. And then they say yes. Then you say, okay, well, how about Tuesday evening? You set up, us. We're going to go speak to 2 people that you know, and I'm going to show you how to pass out samples. Or I'm going to guide you through how to do it while I'm on the phone. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to be with you the whole time on the phone and walk you through the process. It's very, very simple. Or how about we have lunch, and your job is to have 2 people there that we can share the business project we're working on and see if they have any feedback, if they're open to taking a look, or if they can refer anybody to us, or if they'd be open to trying the product, right? So in order to do that, you're probably going to have to invite 4. So you give them an assignment. So whatever your process is, you have to give assignments with permission day one. As soon as they sign up, put them in motion. Because as we said over and over, things in motion tend to stay in motion, and things that are still tend to stay still. So if you've got to get them in motion day one, or else you're losing the percentage chance that they are going to succeed, and you're gaining the percentage chance they're going to not stick with you drastically. For every day that you wait to do this, the momentum goes away, and you want to get that momentum established initially as quickly as possible. It's not always possible. They may sign up at 11 p.m. At your website and you didn't even know they did it, right? So sometimes you can't control it, but sometimes it will be the next day. But as much as possible, immediately, you celebrate them, you bring in the cavalry, the team, and you give them, with permission, you ask them, would they like to have X goal achieved if you're willing to help them? They say yes. Are you sure? And then you give them their first task, which is usually identifying their initial warm market list. Then you can train them down the road, a month, 2 months, 6 months down the road, how to develop leads in other fashion or how to get other leads. But to start with, you always start warm market. It's always the best way because there's already a relationship and a trust established, and you won't have to do as much follow-up to get them a result because they got to get a check quickly if you're going to gain the highest chance of their being truly committed. With that, that's today's podcast, episode 42. You sign me up today. What do you tell me to do first? Until episode 43, thank you for joining me on the journey.
Thank you for sharing today's 365 Days of MLM to Freedom podcast. And remember to email your questions and comments directly to Rome at 365daysofmlm@gmail.com. And until next time, we want to encourage you to join in on the journey.